So have you ever got to the end of the year and feeling like it just didn't go your way? Or in fact, you got to the end of the year and you can't believe that the year has already passed and it just passed in a blur of same routines, going to work, eating the same dinners over and over again, and not really achieving or doing anything that you wanted to achieve? Well, I've had a lot of patients expressing to me that that's how 2024 felt for them. And I thought today I would talk a little bit about how we could maybe work together to make 2025 a little bit different. For those of you who are listening overseas, in Australia, the new year doesn't really start until February because January is still the school holiday. So it's the summer holidays here. So I often think that we often lose a month as well extra in Australia because no one's really ready to sort of set their New Year's resolutions in place. So in this episode, I want to talk to you about approaching 2025 differently. I'd love us to approach it with purpose, and I'd love to help you get to the end of 2025 feeling that you've achieved something that you want to really achieve and not feeling like another year has passed you by. It's common to feel stuck in routines. Often many of us are listening here and we're carers, we've got kids, we've got partners, and you can get to the end of the year and you kind of think, what have I actually achieved for myself? And then you can feel a little bit down and frustrated because you feel like you don't even know where you're going. And so what I want to work on today with you is helping you make it happen. Let's make 2025 your year no matter what's going on. So why do we often feel like we've had a wasted year? Well, I think first of all, there is definitely that illusion of time. I think whenever you're younger, you feel like you've got just this infinite amount of time. We always think there's plenty of time, both in life and in a year. And then suddenly before we know it, we're in November and December. The entire year has flown by in a blink and you kind of think, wow, I can't even believe. And people spend half their adult life, I think, saying, can you believe it's July? Can you believe it's October? And it's like we're in this constant state of shock, wondering how time is flying past us. And what I want to do is get us all, me included, having a little bit of a direction so that, this year we don't have to spend all our time commenting on how life's passing us by. One of the reasons why I think we also can feel a bit lost is that we have probably quite unclear goals, or we have no direction of what we're really trying to achieve, or if we do have goals, they're so big and broad and difficult that it almost feels impossible. And before we know it, we're back in old routines, back in our old day-to-day, and the next thing, all the things that we'd been thinking we were going to do go out the window. And of course, more and more today, we also can fall into that comparison trap. It's so easy to look on social media and see what everyone else is doing and see everyone else who's suddenly taken up a new sport, or everyone else who's joined the gym, or everyone else who's reached their goal. And it can leave us all feeling very, very left behind. And I know even people in business can often feel that it looks like everyone else's business is really successful and everyone else seems to be punching their goals and they're not. So I think that comparison trap is certainly always been there, but I think it's alive and well in such a great proportion right now that it can be really, really difficult, and it actually can be quite demotivating. So my practical steps for you are in 2025 to choose a North Star for the year. And what I mean by that is I just want you to pick one word. It might be courage or consistency or connection or clarity. It's going to help you guide your decisions and cut through the mental clutter. So I think that if you can just keep thinking back to that word. I know I've been chatting with this with a few friends, and one of my friends, is her word for the year is family, because she feels that she's been really focusing on other things and she feels this is going to be the year of connection with her nuclear family but also her extended family. And for me, I have to say my word for this year is fun, because I have felt that over the last couple of years I've been working really, really hard. And interestingly, an experience I had a few weeks ago, I had some social time with actually some new friends, and it was actually the most that I had laughed or enjoyed myself and let go for quite a long time. And it made me realize that it actually had felt a long time since I'd had a lot of fun. So that's going to be my North Star for the year. Are you struggling to navigate the perimenopause or curious to learn more about the menopause from some of the top experts in this space? I am so excited to tell you about an upcoming event, She Thrives, an evening in conversation with myself, Dr. Kelly Casperson, who joined me in episode 89 for a brilliant chat about sex during midlife, and Dr. Vonda Wright, who was on episode 54, who shared how to conquer midlife and beyond with strength training and nutrition. Join us on Monday, the 3rd of March at Newcastle City Hall from 7 pm. A percentage of every ticket purchased will also be donated to the Debbie Gaunt Foundation, which supports women's mental health during these transitional years. To book your spot, click the link in the show notes. I can't wait to see you there. This is one you're not going to want to miss. The next thing that I want you to do is I want you to set enough goals instead of overloading yourself. And so what I mean by that is, like, please don't set 10 big goals. Don't say you're going to lose 20 kilos and run a marathon and, your business is going to hit $1 million and, it just makes it impossible. And you're just setting yourself up for failure. And then, of course, we feel terrible about ourselves. Just pick 2 to 3 things that you want to work on. And this definitely does involve some self-reflection and getting a really clear idea of what you really want. So don't make your goals what you think other people want you to do. Make it what you want to do and what's important to do. And think about what's going to make you feel proud at the end of 2025. Might it just be that, every morning that you've got up and had a walk? Or might it be that every day that you have, been able to sit with one of your kids and play a board game or, go for a bike ride with them or whatever. So I want you to make it that something that at the end of the 2025 that you're going to look back and you're going to go, I'm really proud that I did that. And actually that was really beneficial. I also want you to not try and think too far in advance. So a year can feel like a really long time. Whenever you were a child, gosh, days, weeks, months seemed like they went forever. And although I've said that time flies, also the other side of it is that committing to do something for a whole 365 days can actually just feel overwhelming. So why don't we just break it down into quarters? What can you commit to for the next 90 days? And even if that feels too long, break it down and what can I commit to for the next 30 days? And that makes it a little bit more realistic and it allows you to check it off. And before you know it, you'll have done it for 30 days and then you're going to go, I'm going to just keep going with this. And I know that I often do this with my patients who are trying to give up some type of addiction. We'll just work first a day at a time, a week at a time, and then we get to the end of a month. And they're often so motivated. They're like, I can't believe I have had no alcohol for 30 days and I'm going to just keep going. So make it achievable. I also want you to think about scheduling me time for you weekly. I do love to journal. I think it's really important. It's actually a very evidence-based thing. Anyone who knows me knows that I love what the evidence says, and we know that journaling's really, really helpful, not only for getting sort of those negative emotions out and on paper, but also just having a bit of time to think about your goals and work towards them. We also know that people who even document their food and their exercise actually tend to be lighter and healthier. So we know there are lots of health benefits, but think of that time as an appointment you're making for yourself with yourself. And, have a look at your diary and schedule some things that are fun, schedule some things that are relaxing, schedule some things that are going to be about you. Because if you don't put it in your calendar, it's not going to happen. No one else is going to put you in on your own calendar. So you're going to have to do it. So I want you to schedule me time. I also want you to, at the end of each month, I want you to ask yourself what's working and what's not. So, you might get to the end of the month and realize that it's actually not feasible for you to get up at 6:30, pull your clothes on and go for a walk. And then get back and get your kids out to school. So, is there a small tweak that you can make? So rather than giving up on that plan, maybe it's that you just have to get up 15 minutes earlier so you're not all rushed and stressed out of your mind. So again, I want you to reflect and reset every month and think, what tweaks can I do to make me able to keep going forward with your goal. And hopefully that, again, that's going to help you stop getting to the end of the year going, oh, I started off so well. February, March, April, I was doing really well. But then, the cold weather, came in and I didn't have a warm coat. So I stopped walking. So mindset, I want you to make a shift and think about playing a long game rather than just focusing on just unrealistic goals. So instead of setting resolutions, I want you to set some intentions. So instead of saying, I want to lose weight, I want you to say, I want to feel stronger and energized, or saying, I'm going to stop eating sugar. I want you to say, I'm going to try and be more mindful about the decisions I make about food. And I'm going to think about what supports my energy and mood. And I'm going to really take note when I do eat something of how it makes me feel. And instead of saying, I'll stop procrastinating and beating yourself up for that, what about saying, I'm going to take small, consistent steps towards the things that matter to me? Basically, I want you to focus on the micro wins. So if your goal is to lose weight, I want you to celebrate when you actually manage to go to the gym or that you make some really great choices. And I want you to celebrate the wins that you set your alarm and you got up and you went for that walk. Give yourself some, pats on the back. Success isn't a big leap. It's a series of small intentional steps. So instead of focusing on, for example, what maybe the weighing scales say, give yourself, some positive affirmation whenever you actually manage to make some of the steps towards, that healthier lifestyle. I want you to also trust in yourself and think about self-trust over self-discipline. You don't need more willpower. You need belief that you can follow through and shift from telling yourself that I should do this, I should eat less, I should stop eating chocolate, I should go to the gym more, and make it I choose, because then it doesn't feel like you're penalizing yourself. It feels that you're moving it from being a really negative thing and making yourself feel bad about what you did before and turning it into a really positive future choice. So my key takeaways for you today are 3 simple steps. I want you to choose your North Star word for 2025. So mine's fun, but maybe yours is going to be family, maybe yours is going to be health, maybe it's going to be relationships, maybe it's going to be communication, whatever word is important to you. Let's get to the end of 2025 where you can feel really proud that you know that you have really worked towards that North Star. I want you to pick one small action to commit to for the next 90 days. So maybe it's going to be that you're going to try and eat more vegetables, or that you are going to have a couple of days a week that are alcohol free, or maybe it's just going to be that you are going to put your phone in the kitchen at night time. And the other thing I want you to do is I want you to schedule your first me time this week. So I want you to put some time in the diary that's not for work meetings, that you're not allowed to fill with phone calls or chores or things off your to-do list, but it's just going to be about you. 2025 isn't going to be different just because the calendar changed. It's going to be different because you decide to show up differently. And I would love it to be different for you. This podcast and any information, advice, opinions, or statements within it do not constitute medical, healthcare, or other professional advice. Information is provided for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you have any health concerns, always consult your doctor.